thank you, David, and organizers for inviting me. Just see how it works. Okay, so that is about the same slide that you saw a couple of times, but it shows you that regarding the number of inhabitants in Serbia, which is around 7 million, we have a lot more stroke prevalence than let's say in the Western Europe. So we are in some kind of epidemiological crisis, and these patients are getting younger and younger, and not so many, but more and more we see that in the 30-year-old, in the 40-year-old, and even in pediatric patients. This is the old paper with the old slide. Probably the numbers are not the same, but this is so roughly what were the situation here. Here you can see that. Just a second. That Serbia is represented with 8.7 million. It was never like that. I don't know why they put it in the paper, but anyways, you can see there were a pretty low number of mechanical thrombectomy at that year. It was 2020. And I look for the number. Of course, it's a lower number of inhabitants. We have 6 centers, and now we have around 400 thrombectomies in these 6 centers per year. These are the centers we have. We have 25 stroke units with capacity of performing IVT. The number of IVTs, I'm not know, but it's very low for the same reasons that Dennis said. So there is a kind of fear to do it. Patient is coming a little bit late or else. These are the comprehensive stroke centers that can do mechanical thrombectomy. These are the big hospitals. In Belgrade, we have 3 of them. A number of catchment area is 2.5 million. In Clinical Center of Vojvodina, its catchment area is 1.6, and the rest, two others, about the same. What is the distance? The country is not that big. It's not like Croatia. Croatia is like a banana shape. Here we are all concentrated, and then practically there is no patient that cannot come into one of these centers in 2 hours or 2.5 hours. So that shouldn't be a problem. But anyways, we have a problem with the latecomers. So the stroke care organization depends on local geography. We all know that. For example, in Paris, with 11.8 million inhabitants, you can see 7 centers that can do it outside working hours. They are divided like in 4 zones, and so every zone in one period is for the whole city, and then they switch. So this is like a round organization. In Toulouse, you can see the 3 million catchment area. They were growing numbers like this. I was there a couple of times. You see this right side is for the Toulouse Comprehensive Stroke Center. This left side, this right side is for Montpellier. And you see the number of, the stroke units who can give intravenous thrombolysis, and they are all concentrating sending the patient to the one center, so it's centralized variant. And in Barcelona, it was 7 million inhabitants. It was shown by Mark Ribot so many times. So you see a completely different situation, and the patients are coming, and completely other organization. They are all the centers are located here, so the patients are sent directly, and the question was either to perform IVT. Of course, if they are in this region, they go directly. If in this region, this is debatable, and this region they show they will receive IVT and then be sent. In Serbia, we have what I said, 5+1 comprehensive center. The one is the military academy, so all the others are public. In Belgrade there are 3, and 1 by each big city. This is the organization. About 2.5 million in Belgrade. In Belgrade, we would need to perform, let's say, it was estimated 1,400 thrombectomies. but easily, but we don't yet. Procedure is recognized, approved, and reimbursed. No national strategy, but it's on the way. Will it be implemented right now? When it comes, I'm not sure because it's on paper. We'll see. It's another thing to be implemented. And in Belgrade, now we do around 300 cases per year in these two centers, plus another one which does a low number, let's say 20, and the others are doing like this. So still a low number of patients, especially in Niš and Kragujevac. In Belgrade, asymmetric rotational organization is proposed. Now we do it like this: 3 centers, military academies in Wednesday. We others are split in the different days. So Monday and Thursday it's St. Sava Hospital. Other days are in the weekends. First 2 weekends is in other hospital. Then last 2 weekends are us. So it's complicated for the emergency service, but it's the way it is. Of course, we now have in every major comprehensive stroke center new hospitals. So modern new hospitals with CTs, with MRIs, with angio suites. Everything is near, everything is around the corner, as the colleague from Austria said. So we thought now that we are good, we will lower the time measures, and we will be better in our clinical situation, clinical outcome. So this is I don't have from my center, but this is from Novi Sad. You see this is the neurologist for CT here, you see the MRI here, you see the angio suite here, you see the other angio suite here. So everything is concentrated. So it is good. We have the machines, we have the place, we have even the people to do it, but what about organization? What we do in Belgrade, the neurologist receives the patient which is on call, and then send the patient to the CT, it's usually CT, and then call, in the meantime calls us, and we are preparing, and we are sending each other these messages and pictures on WhatsApp or Viber. Of course, we probably wait for this AI, but it's too expensive for the time being for the hospitals. Of course, it need to be a national strategy to have something like that at the level of the state. Then we have a discussion, make a common decision. Of course, we don't fight, and then we have disagreements, agreements, and then we try to keep this discussion very short, and then to go on for the patient to do a thrombectomy if it's indicated. How to save time? Of course, direct admission to stroke patient directly to the neuro-emergency department, preferably to the CT directly from the emergency vehicle. It's the best. We don't do it. So we don't do it. The second is IVTPA can be done on CT while performing, diagnostic. Also, we don't do it. Drip and ship, we don't repeat usual images unless the patient is changing the NHS scale to good or to bad. We do it like this, and we try to progressively privilege mothership. I told you we are all in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. All the patients are from these comprehensive stroke centers. What we need on call, a nurse or technician, and one interventionist. So there's 3 people that are on call. And regarding anesthesiology, frankly, we don't have it. We have anesthesiology if it's very needed for patient. He must be intubated or is already intubated. If not, we do all the patients in the. It's not a local sedation. It's like it's just local sedation at the site of the puncture, nothing else. If needed, we call them. They come. There are also low number of anesthesiologists. It's always a problem. Now we have 2 biplane rooms and hybrid. We do the thrombectomies in one of the biplane. We share it with cardiology because our new facility is on the reconstruction yet, and we should have 4 angio suites or 5 big angio suites, Icono, but it's still in the boxes, so that we share with them, and then it could be a problem when one patient is very critically doing the cardiac interventions, and we need to start. So sometimes we wait, sometimes they wait. Of course, always CT, CTA for us is common variant, and CT perfusion 6 hours. After that, now we do the CT perfusion for all the patients. Sometimes we get confused with CT perfusion for the patients that come in the first 3 hours. You know, the perfusion can be very confusing. Do the most case under local anesthesia. I said that. Anticoagulation, of course, after the procedure. And what is for us very, very important, it's not something that we know from the randomized control studies, but from the life and from the colleagues that we talked about. We keep the blood pressure above 140, or let's say below 180. So we tend to tell that to emergency service. We tend to talk to the service that where the patient arrives, not lower the blood pressure. Even if for the images, if they need to sedate the patient, when they do the sedation, the blood pressure lowers up to 70 systolic, and then it's all over for the penumbra. So we said to them, we will accept the low quality pictures, just not lower blood pressure, don't sedate them. Of course, after the successful recanalization, completely another thing, we always strictly lower the blood pressure below 140. If not, we have the major bleedings for the patient that had 150, 160. So when we were below, we never had, symptomatic intracranial hematoma, very low percentage. So we do it. So before recanalization above 140, after recanalization below 140, if needed, very aggressively with the pump, infusing the drug. We don't care about tandem occlusions. We do it all, as you know. The numbers we said in 150 per year. We do a lot more aneurysms still. We would like, of course, the number to be more than 150, but now with these new MIVO trials, we were hit by it, and the neurologists don't want anymore to do it with a reason. So now only Proxima M2, so that will also be impact on the number of the patients, and more than 2/3 are done outside the working hour, which is important. These are our metrics, and what is striking here is that IVT is 17%. One of the colleagues from West showed the same 20% rate. I think that in these trials that we are now celebrating from 2015, that they had around 60% of IVTs. So we are very low here. The reason we can discuss. The rest is usual. You see the NHS 16 or 17. These are also the problem. You see the onset to door more than 2 hours. You see it average. You see, for example, door to AP. It's crazy. Then AP to recanalization is not bad, 40 minutes, but overall onset to recanalization 310 minutes. Onset to IVT also. Now we tend to do IVT in a late window. It's possible if you have a perfusion, so we do it more and more. So I was in Toulouse doing my thesis, and then this is comparable my metrics with them. I will show you now. For example, this time door to arterial puncture is 125 in our situation. In Toulouse, which very well organized center, is only 48 minutes. It's 75 minutes. AP to recanalization, it was comparable, but you see the difference. It's practically an hour. So this is if you know that what is the impact of the time on the clinical result, we know that it is a big impact, and you will see it later. A door to needle to the IVT, you see it's not bad. MTK was also comparable in the two centers. You see, we were good with that. MRS 0 to 2, I was happy. We were also good. We've showed that even in the Middle East European countries, which not the same level of salaries and no same level economy, we can repeat the results of the randomized control studies, which is very important message 10 years after these studies. Also in the real situation in Toulouse, in Western centers, the same thing. So this is good. What was the bad, which is this mortality rate. So these are the patients that die after in 3 months after procedure. So all the patients that are, for example, is double comparing to Toulouse, and all the patients that will be in Toulouse, let's say MRS 4 and 5, were shifted to this MRS 6. This is the reason we can debate, but surely the level of health of our patient, the basic level, the level of later who is taking care of the patient, where they're going, and rehabilitation, all is taken into consideration for this. So this is the overall table, and this is what I want to show. This is the crucial difference, the mortality. Odds ratio 2, meaning that it's 2 times chance that the patient who is thrombectomized will be dead 2 times here than in Toulouse, in Belgium. Why stroke severity, comorbidities, and socioeconomic factors? Rehabilitation is only 1 month after procedure. After that, they are on their own. And this is a comparable study in Brazil, taken in the public hospital. So the same thing, you can see that the mortality was very, very high. In thrombectomy arm, 24%. And also in Brazil that the patient have this, their health, primary health is not at a very good level. They're a very vulnerable population in this way. So these are the modern hospitals, but what was the problem that we encountered now? We had a modern hospital, everything is around the corner. We thought that our times would be at least a little bit better, but they were worse. We were worse half to hour to 1 hour after we moved to this new modern fancy building. And why was that? I talked to a lot of colleagues. So we have all this in one place, but the problem was where the patient was admitted. In the old building, the patient was admitted directly to the neurologist who is looking at the patients. In fact, first was the neurology nurse, and she was, when she saw the patient, brought usually by the family, she was telling to the doctor, physician, she said, there is a patient who probably is hemiplegic, he's hemiplegic, he probably is a stroke. So the doctor is now referring directly to the CT, this patient, and telling either this nurse or the guy that is transporting the patient, go directly there. Everybody who is there, stop the CT. This is a patient that needs to be done in emergency way, and so we were much quicker. Today, the patient is going to some kind of zones. There is a red zone, which are the patients that are reanimated, usually intubated, which needs to be taken care with the diagnostic in a most rapid way, in 15 minutes. There is the orange zone where these patients are going, with also the ileus and the other problems, and they need to be taken care of in, let's say, 45 minutes. With the radiology assessment and all this. So we lose this patient, and they are admitted not by neurologist, not by the the guy that are doing emergency medicine, and so they either call in a late fashion the neurologist. So the neurologist have to come, but he's too much he's overloaded there. So he comes and he writes his report, and then he goes, and then they want to do the chest X-ray. There is nobody to do chest X-ray. So they are waiting to send the transporter to the CT. He's then texting to his, fiancée, and then he's waiting. Nobody calls the patient. I was there. I found the patient, waiting while nobody calls. So we are losing this patient, and that's why I will show you we were better before. These are now our results until 2021. These were the old buildings. This is the new facility afterwards. And you can see, for example, door to neurological report was much shorter, let's say 15, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Then door to radiological report is extremely long. Of course, here there's also problem door to team notification. Only when this patient comes should be not notified the team, but usually it's not like that, because I told you it was admitted by the physician which is doing the emergency medicine. So overall, they are taking care of different type of patients. So we are called later. Door to recanalization is, you see, prolonged. It's almost half an hour, almost an hour. And all this delay of half an hour to hour lower our MRS. And you can see it's very shifted from 42, 44 to now 28, even 26. So the patient is not doing well. So now the neurologist is seeing patient. We are doing thrombectomy, everything goes well. Patient goes back to the neurological ward and nothing. So he's still hemiplegic, it's not good. So the ward is filling with these patients, so we need to take care of this patient. So the neurologists are not willing anymore to do thrombectomy, so they're narrowing the indications. So we need now, they will look for the perfect patient, so there is no perfect patient, or very scarce. So there we have, like a vicious cycle. And so I go back to this. I talked to our colleague in Sweden. I also know the Shandor, who is cardiologist doing in Budapest, with his amazing 700 thrombectomies per year, and the year before it was like 500. They bypassed this emergency, They're doing, he does it, for example, like cardiologists, like in the fashion cardiologist, he completely bypassed. They have their dispatcher, the emergency service calls them, tells them there's a patient who likely be thrombectomy, so they prepare everything. Patient goes right to the CT or whatever, and it's looked and neurological assessment is made there, so everything is bypassed. So that's the only way. Also in Sweden, there is a colleague which is neurologist, interventional neurologist, and he also saw when the same thing when they moved to another new building, they have the worst clinical outcomes. So he bypassed everything. They have dispatcher, the emergency service is calling them, and everything is much better organized, and the numbers are getting better, not worse. But the very good news, now we are, this is wrong, we are 5, one of the Ebony Fellow, so we are good regarding number of colleagues working. We don't have to work that much. This is attractive field, I think, still for the youngsters to come who likes adrenaline, especially thrombectomy, and I think in next 10 years we will see hopefully improvements. Especially if we get into the field of neuroprotection, which is a lot of money is involved investing in that. If we get that and get something like ECG to have in the ambulance, you can tell us if it's really ischemic stroke, probably we'll get better with our time metrics. What I want to add, we're having this, I'm part of the ISMIN, I'm chair of the ISMIN committee after Vlado. We have this educational program that we will run for the Middle East countries, and like these centers that are having problems, like you said, in the south of the country or anywhere, they will be able to apply next year. This year we have this pilot project. This camera, as Jan said, will be installed in the centers where needed, and this will reversed fellowship, like proctorship, teleproctorship, that the proctors can be the physician that needs help call proctors, and the list of proctors is already made. You're one of them, and Vlado, and these are the 4 sites that we chosen. It is former Yugoslavia's countries, because we speaking, if I may say, the same language. And we know each other, and we want to see how it works and what doesn't work for the future. So this Novi Sad, Skopje, Sarajevo, and Podgorica. So we are very excited to this project and hope everything will be well. They are all in a different level of experience of different things, but this will be a good challenge to see how it will work. And after 2026, I hope open registration if we don't fail. Thank you.